Hi guys, I wanted to make a video showing the creation process and product of one of my wearable sculptures. This sculpture, which I titled Forest Spirit, was inspired by the balance between growth and decay. And it was really fun to create such a creepy, interactive sculpture. These sculptures are so much fun to make, but ultimately the actual experience or presentation of the work live does not last more than a few hours in the afternoon. So I wanted to create a video not only to capture my creative process, but also to capture the movement and the actual interactive experience of the final work, during which you'll see my friend and my fellow artist Kylie helped with photography, and she also helped when interacting with the public during my performance/presentation. I choose not to talk while I'm in costume to the public because I feel like it takes away from the immersion. So Kylie helps with that and helps answer any questions. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy. I wanted to begin showing my process by showing one of the stilts I've created for my wearable sculptures. These stilts are made of wood with a pair of shoes drilled into the base. I used metal shelf bracketing and half of a PVC pipe to extend upwards towards my knee for support. I also added a bungee cord to the back to act as a tendon to support my legs and to prevent me from twisting my ankles. The headpiece of the work is arguably my favorite part. I constructed the base entirely from cardboard, which I later paper-mache'd for a smoother finish and a stronger form. This was then painted and decorated with moss and small mushrooms. The antlers were carved from foam, and I took a slight risk by using clay at the front for the skull part because it ended up being heavier, but it also ended up working. There's also mesh eye holes in the front for increased visibility. And the elastic and the pin on the back allow for jaw movement. So when I move my jaw, the jaw moves too. Now, this is the piece of the sculpture that sits on my back, which is attached with elastic. This is before I added the fabric. This form is super lightweight because it's made out of chicken wire, which then was paper mache'd and I painted. Then afterwards, I added moss, mini mushrooms, which I made out of hot glue, and bigger mushrooms carved out of foam. This was not super difficult to make with material-wise. All of it came from my recycling bin. And as you can see here, this is one of the foam mushrooms that I carved before it was painted. These are the leaves I attached to the project. They were super easy to get. I just bought a garland strand from a craft store and then popped off the leaves. As you can see here, these are the crutches wrapped in fabric that are going to support my arms. Here you can see in progress adding the leaves for detail. And this is going to be one of the brown and green fabric pieces that's going to be attached later. And once all those fabric pieces are attached, then to make the transition between the materials smoother on the eye, I continued to add moss. Next, I wanted to build 2 more forms to go on my legs, so I started to cut a chicken wire base. And once those forms were paper mache'd, I painted them and then later add elastic so that way they can attach to my legs. And once these forms are built just like before, I continue to add moss and tiny hot glue mushrooms. Just make sure not to be like me and burn your fingers on the hot glue. After cutting and adding my fabric to the work, I realized that the green fabric was just a little too vibrant for my liking. So I just took some brown craft paint and I kind of just haphazardly smeared and then brushed it onto the fabric to give it more of a toned down and almost kind of a dirtier look. Just so that green wouldn't be so aggressive. So I also wanted to include a time lapse. This is me getting into the wearable sculpture and getting into costume. In real time, it takes me about 10 minutes to put it all on, whereas here you're going to see it in about 30 seconds. And foremost, I painted my face really nice dark green. That way my skin isn't super obvious underneath that mask or headpiece. And then with a little bit of assistance, I put all the pieces I built together onto myself. I start with the leg stilts, work my way up to the back piece, the other leg pieces, and finishing with the headpiece and then finally the crutches. So after photographing at Sweetwater Preserve, I took it more public here to Depot Park in Gainesville. Had a lot of lovely interactions with people. Some took pictures, some thought it was scary, some thought it was fun. Unfortunately, many dogs did not like it, but overall, I had a really wonderful time. And here I captured a few moments with those people.
Yeah.
That is exceptional. Very
What
cool.
is this for? This is for our sculpture class. So she made a wearable sculpture.
I
love it. It's beautiful.
That looks so unique. Like, really crazy cool.
Thanks. She built it herself. She has crutches and stilts on her feet. It's made out of chicken wire and paper mache, foam,
That is really
fabric.
way cool.
How does the mouth move? It's connected to her jaw in a helmet.
Yo, get on the other side.
She built it herself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cheese. Okay. Yeah.
So cool.
Say hi.
Oh, it's so detailed.
She made the mushrooms out of phone. Hi.
That is so cool. So what is it?
She's like a forest spirit.
Okay. Okay, Luna. Yeah. Wow. Hello. I want to like interact with you somehow. Can I take your hand?
Perhaps.
I want to bow.
She made it herself. She's on stilts. She has crutches.
This
She
is incredible.
chicken wire, foam, cardboard, paper mache, moss.
Are you? No.
And that was the final product. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my process and my work. If you're interested in seeing more, I should have more photographs of this work on my Instagram and other social media accounts, which I should have added below. But regardless, thank you so much for watching.